I'm Mike Fouché, and this is Aldertrack's Meet a Chicago Candidate series. Alyx Pattison is one of 6 candidates in the crowded open seat race for the newly created Northside Chicago 2nd Ward. She's an attorney and recently formerly a partner at Catton Muchin Rosenman and a one-time staffer for Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky on the North Side. In a race with 3 candidates who have already reported raising over $100,000, Pattison leads her closest opponent by reporting at least $30,000 more. So tell me, Alyx, what drove you to run for alderman?
A desire to serve my community and a passion for the city, and I care about my neighborhood and the neighborhood surrounding me. What a great privilege it would be to get up every day and have the job of helping to improve Chicago. I can't wait to do it.
Okay. So do you consider yourself more or at all an Emmanuel, Fioretti, Garcia or Wilson supporter?
Gosh, I'm running through them all in my head. I like with any candidate. Other politician, there would be some things I would agree with, some on certain things, and other policy issues I would disagree with some people on. I could pick and choose, and it would be sort of a cafeteria, a picking and choosing between them. I don't agree with anybody 100%, and I don't disagree with anybody 100% either.
So should we expect you to be endorsing or supporting one of those or another?
No. I have my own race, and they're all big boys, and they can go out and run for mayor, and I'll run for alderman, and we'll see how it ends on election day.
Okay. So most sitting aldermen would say the job is more like being a janitor than anything else. You're constantly taking care of all the problems in the ward. But if there was one citywide issue that you were going to have, what would it be?
I think it's jobs and economic development. I really want us, if we were all going to work together and really think about strategically how we are going to plan a city for the 21st century, I'd like to be a part of that. And how are we going to create jobs and create new, jobs in the new economy for the 21st century.
Do you have some examples of things the city should be doing?
Well, I think the city has done a good job recruiting jobs like Google. And it's one area that I would agree with Mayor Emanuel on, and he's worked hard to recruit some big business to the city. Given that manufacturing seems to have left, sadly, we need to sort of figure out how to position ourselves strategically for what's going to happen next. And the mayor and World Business Chicago have worked very strategically to do this. And I think a lot of what they picked, logistics, for example, makes good sense for Chicago, given our proximity to trains, planes, automobiles, river, lake. And I want to be a part of that planning process.
So your ward has pieces of Wicker Park, Lincoln Park, Old Town, and the Gold Coast. How does somebody adequately represent a ward that's so fractured?
Well, they have far more in common than you would think. We really are one Chicago, and people have the same concerns. How good is my neighborhood school, and can I send my kids to it, or do I have to move to the suburbs? How safe am I on the streets? And even though, Streeterville sees community policing differently than Wicker Park or maybe Pulaski Park, 2 other neighborhoods in the ward, they sort of all they're coming from the same place. And so, like I said, although it's a little bit different and requires tweaks, I don't think it's all that difficult. Much has been made of it, but it takes someone with the energy to drive back and forth and up and down the ward, because it is a large geographic area, and with our traffic, sometimes that can be a problem. But the people are really the same. They're Chicagoans.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alyx.
Thanks for having me.
You can learn more about the Alyx Pattison campaign and 200 others by subscribing to the Aldertrack email newsletter at aldertrack.com, by subscribing to this YouTube channel, and by listening to this series on Rivet Radio. Thank you very much. More great stuff to come.